Hello viewers, welcome to mojo4industry, India's first mobile journalism platform for industry. In the year 2020, we all have witnessed an unprecedented scenario unfold with the COVID-19 pandemic. The impact of the pandemic on demand and revenue collections of distribution companies has led to a cascading effect of the entire power sector value chain. Today, we have Mr. Ashok Khurana, Director General at Association of Power Producers of India, to delve into the future of power sector in India. So welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, sir, could you highlight some of the key impacts of the pandemic on the Indian power sector?
The stress in the power sector predates COVID. And we were already in the stress zone, in fact, with the high receivables, stranded assets, underutilized assets, many projects without coal. The COVID actually aggravated the stress. For us, it was a case of comorbidity with COVID. And the immediate impacts were, as you rightly said, steep fall in demand. In the month of April, May, June, we had almost 20% fall in demand. From September, the demand has started limping back to normal. And we can say, in last 2 months, it's in fact better than the last year. The demand fall, the revenue of the state utilities, which are highly or anyway reeling under heavy receivable payable situations, fell drastically because of fall in the income of households, small industry, medium industries. In fact, many of the DISCOMS reported that their revenue collection during those months of COVID was around 25 to 50% only, and has not picked up as yet. The significant fall in demand came from industry and commercial, making it a double whammy for the DISCOMS, because industry and the commerce, as you all are aware, are the subsidizing customer. They subsidize the household agriculture. So once that also fell, the state's low collection and the significant fall in demand from industry and commercial, the finances of state utilities, which are already very precarious, were hit hard. But I must say in this context that the government response was very prompt and appropriate. To ease the situation, immediately liquidity infusion window was started by MOP, in which they sanctioned 1,20,000 crores. In fact, 1,20,000 crores already sanctioned, and about 50,000 crores disbursed from this facility to ease the liquidity position. In discussion with Coal Ministry, the letter of credit facilities were initiated for coal offtake. RBI came up with a moratorium of repayments. Finance Ministry suspension of IBC. Now, the objective of all this was to keep the lights on. And I must say that all through this period, all stakeholders worked untiringly and were able to ensure uninterrupted supply to everyone. The scars are still there, but efforts are on to mitigate the impact of COVID.
Right. So what do you feel? Which are the challenges that are going to continue even in 2021?
In this context, the challenges are deteriorating financial health of DISCOMS. We must realize that the business is picking up slowly. The DISCOMS recovery will pick up slowly unless they have under shock over there. Luckily, if you all see, we touched 183 gigawatt of the peak only 2 days back, which actually is symptomatic that the industry and the commercial demand is getting back. As on today, you have about 1,26,000 crores of pending dues. That is when approximately 30 to 40,000 crore accounted for has been paid by liquidity window. State utilities own 27,000 crores to Coal India. Now, all of us are actually working to support the DISCOMS. The GOI has started in earnest the effort of privatization and setting an example for states. They have started with the union territories. Pondicherry is online. So all these things are going on. We are requesting the Government of India to extend the validity of liquidity window from June end bill to December end, and till the distribution companies' finances improve and the reforms in this area are actually grounded, what should be done is to give them transition support. All the state governments would need transition supports and to insulate the value chain from distribution health. Second challenge we are facing is the barriers in coal supply. Sector with the penetration of RE has now moved from long-term purchase of power to short-term purchase of power. Utilities prefer to buy in open market or in short-term and plan their meeting load profile in optimal manner. The long-term PPAs put the strain of fixed charges on them when power is not being utilized. You can imagine with the PPA, with the PLFs running at 54, 55, the stress because of the fixed charges is pretty high. Therefore, we have not had long-term PPA bids, I think, for last about now 5 to 6 months, 6 years in. And last medium-term bid came about 2 years back. So we have projects which have linkages, but cannot access coal to utilize their unutilized capacity in short-term markets and deep portal. So we have asked the government, and government is working very hard on this, of delinking PPA and coal supply. That is, you don't need the PPAs and you can use the linkage coal to do. Then we have challenges of gas projects, 24 gigawatt of standard projects. We have requested the government and they're working to implement the HLEC recommendations. The cabinet has approved the measures to encourage hydro policy. The hydro generation, which is imperative for balancing and for meeting the growing RE penetration. So we are waiting for those measures to be operationalized and implemented.
You said that 5-6 states actually have the problems, and it's almost certain that few of the DISCOMs will be privatized very soon. So could you name few of those DISCOMs of the state?
UP,
right, sir.
Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, the entire South Belt, frankly speaking.
Right.
Like Andhra has not paid you all know, Andhra has not paid the RE dues for last about 18 months.
18 months.
They have gone back on the contracts. So putting the RE in danger. So all these states are what we call the states which are laggards. And Tamil Nadu has not increased tariff in the last 5 years. So the cash deficit is bound to increase. The cost of power has increased and inflation has taken place. So these are 5-6 states, because if you see the receivables, 75 to 80% of the outstandings come from these states. And the problem is not of not knowing what to do. It's known very well. It is just what is required for distribution reform is a sustained political will. Gujarat has done it, Maharashtra has done it, Madhya Pradesh has done it, Haryana has done it. So others can do it in the same ecosystem. So it is the concern people who are manning the states they need to put their mind behind it. And they must realize one thing, that letting the power sector cash deficit increase actually impacts their fiscal balance a lot.
So, talking about the renewable sector, solar tariffs continue to reach new record lows with a tariff of lesser than 2 rupees per unit. So, does it make economic sense for power producers in the renewable energy segment?
The capacity and thinking wisdom of those who are putting in the bids. It is they who are putting in the bids. It is they who would invest their money. They'll only get the low tariff also they have quoted after the projects are ready. That means the prices have fallen down on raw material. They can arrange finances at a very low cost. They can implement project with effectiveness. And the fact NTPC is bidding, let's be clear, 1.9 bid has come from NTPC. We must accept the judgment of those who are bidding. They are putting their money on the bids and they will give us. I don't think we should have any doubt about it. And we look forward to further reductions. Yeah, it's good for consumer.
Right. So talking again about the electric vehicle segment, it's being touted as a sunrise sector in India. So what's your take on the preparation of Indian power sector in terms of meeting the energy demand for electric vehicle?
Regarding the adequacy of power, see, we must understand we have today 374 gigawatt of capacity. Renewable is coming on anvil and the 20,000 megawatt of NTPC is on anvil. So I don't see any problem with a 183 at the peak and 375 gigawatt as capacity. I actually do not see any problem of supply of power to meeting the e-mobility demand. In fact, we look forward to it because the idling capacity and underutilized capacity will immediately come on the stream. It would be good for sector that all these capacities start getting utilized and the capital which has been spent on these projects is utilized. Frankly speaking, we have huge capacity to meet e-mobility, to even meet 24/7 demand. But we are looking for that thing to actually come in the picture. And you have 25 gigawatt of gas projects here, which are not producing any power. So if you have need, people will be able to pay for high cost of power also.
So as a representative of Association of Power Producers, what's your recommendation for the Ministry for the Union Budget 2021?
The only thing which budget can do to us is actually rationalization of duties and levies. Because if you see in last 3-4 years, the duties and taxes on coal and coal transportation has increased manifold. And along with the adequacy of power, reliability of power, we need to keep in mind the per capita income of Indian households. We need to ensure that power is affordable. And for that, the cost of procurement has to come down. One is, of course, optimizing the procurement mechanism. And B is reducing the input costs. As on today, we've been saying that the distribution companies actually bear the brunt of inefficiencies of entire upstream sector, which is coal, railway transportation, transmission, and many of the generation projects, which are basically so high cost and a variable cost that they'll never be utilized. But they are in the system and their cost is being borne by the balance sheet of DISCOMS. So we need to first dismantle this cost plus structure, which actually breeds inefficiency and provides a perverted incentive for higher capital costs. And the way we have moved in generation, and we have seen the benefit of competition in generation, it's time NTPC moves on to competition, which they have not yet. Transmission has moved on, to competition. We have seen the private bids almost 30-35% cheaper. And then it drives the PSUs also to come down further. Luckily, commercial coal mining has started, which is very small today, but it will increase from time to time. Idea is to bring competition in the entire value chain so that consumer can drive the benefit of competition.
So now that we welcomed 2021, what is your outlook for Indian power sector in 2021?
Presently, there are many changes, policy changes and regulatory, which are the work in progress, and they have the capacity to transform the sector. Recently, you must have seen the right of consumer announced by the minister. It's the first time the consumer charter has come where metering, billing, his reliability and security, standard of performance, all have been described. And even the compensation mechanism is being provided for, so that consumer can raise their voice and demand the quality of service and not let it be at the mercy of the monopoly of state DISCOMS. And that's a very big step. The new tariff policy. New tariff policy prescribes for DBT, prescribes for a limit to losses being loaded onto the tariff, cost reflective tariff, and talks of transparent subsidy and reduction of cross subsidy. So if you really see the latest report which came out in paper CEW, which showed that the tariff subsidy in last 3-4 years have increased by 32%. It's about 1,32,000 crores. And cross subsidies increased and about 75,000 crores. Now, these tariff policy measures, because they are enforceable. The tariff policy flows from Electricity Act. It's a part of delegated legislation. So it's binding on states. And it has already traveled through discussion with stakeholders, state governments, and through GUM. Very high level, 10 senior ministers, GUM sat down on it. They have scanned it, and we expect it to be out very soon. Then there are proposed amendments in the Electricity Act. If they come through very quickly, we are waiting for it. Then, basically just come is what we spoke to you earlier, is actually putting in place the mechanism to ensure timely payment and give the payment security to renewables and to conventional power. A new thing which is coming up, which got delayed because the commission was not working because of the Supreme Court order. Because in that time, what happened was the tariff, the escalation factor is to be fixed for bidding in 24/7 bundled power. As I said earlier, the demand for 24/7 long-term conventional power has almost diminished. And we have idle capacity, we underutilized capacity. So what government has thought of is actually 24/7 bundled power. That is combining renewables with thermal, stroke gas, stroke hydro. So that when the DISCOMs get it, they are not getting the additional burden of deemed generation when conventional plants are not working. And I expect the bid of a bundled power not to go beyond 350 and 360, which is a very good rate for 24/7 power.
Right.
Then, which I spoke earlier, you have the working of delinking of coal and PPAs. We understand they have been meeting with between two ministers, and some mechanism is being worked out.
Yeah.
Therefore, what I'm saying is, this suits with the emerging scenario where states would prefer a combination of renewable because that is their purchase obligations. Okay. Along with that, thermal, hydro, our gas, so they do not have the burden of fixed charges.
Right.
These are the policy interventions which we are expecting. Along with that, I earlier said, was grounding of the cabinet decisions on hydro and the reworking of gas projects by the earlier RLNG scheme, if you all recall, because HLEC has recommended that. They are very groundbreaking reforms, like the MBED, Market-Based Economic Dispatch.
Right. Right.
That will see the benefits will flow to consumer. And the general network access, GNA. Because today we have the system of LTOA, MTOA, STOA, and you have to take it before. Then if you can't get the capacity moving, you have relinquishment problem and where power cannot reach. So once we have the general network access, even that paper has been floated.
Right.
And the provisional tariff for FGD installations. Now, however, why I said cautious optimism is we are uncertain at this stage of COVID-19. Its spread, intensity, duration are all unknown variables. So we'll need to keep on calibrating our response.
So, sir, before concluding today's interaction with you, so we just like to hear from you in one sentence. Can we expect Achhe Din for DISCOMS in 2021?
God willing, we'll have very Achhe Din, but keeps our finger crossed and pray that the COVID impact abates soon. We get the vaccination, we get the industries moving, commerce moving, all movements moving, and then you will find this sector will thrive and provide necessary input to all other sectors to meet their requirements.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and wish you a very happy and prosperous New Year in the year to come. And wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Through this medium, I would like to wish you and all the viewers a very happy New Year. Stay home, stay safe, and take care. Thank you very much.
So viewers, with that, it's a wrap on today's interactive session with Mr. Ashok Khurana. Thank you so much, Mr. Khurana, for your time and speaking to Mojo4industry. Viewers, thanks for watching and bye for now. Wish you a happy New Year. Thank you so much.